Hello and good evening, everyone. And we're starting off in English because today we've got an international group assembled here, kind of our Forbidden Lands Avengers team. And what we are going today is to have basically a session 0.5. Let's see how far we come of Forbidden Lands. And this is not the only place you can, of course, watch Forbidden Lands being played. And one of the first and foremost is, of course, the channel of Free League, who are the publishers of the game itself. And that is run by Matt. You can see Matt down here beneath me. That's Matt. And he also run a Forbidden Lands campaign. And there might be a few faces that you know from both campaigns now.
And hopefully, maybe we can do a crossover in the future.
We'll see. We were thinking about, let's run two campaigns. One is you as the GM, one is me as the GM, so you also have kind of a chance to be player. I think it's the first time you're a player in Forbidden Lands, right?
First time ever, and this is like my favorite fantasy game. So thank you so much for having me on here and allowing me the opportunity to be a player finally in Forbidden Lands.
Yeah. Maybe after a few sessions you're going to be like, actually, GM is a nice job. Let me go back to my campaign. But we're going to see. So that's Matt. And our other international guest is Michael, also known as the Dad Aussie Gamer. Hey, Michael, what time is it where you are?
Hello, it is 3 in the morning where I am, on the other side of the world in Upside Down Land, which is, probably a time I probably shouldn't be speaking so vivaciously, but I am, because here I am with you lovely people, and of course with one of my favorite GMs of all, so yay, so excited.
Have I GM? I have GM'd for you. I was thinking just...
You have GM for me.
We always players, but when I visited...
Yes, no, that's true.
When we visited, we played Achtung Cthulhu, and for some reason it turned into...
We did. I got to play Rene, a very interesting cafe on there. It was most interesting. I am a master of stealth, and that is not what I'm playing today. But
it was a bit less horror and a little more humor. That's true.
It was hilarious.
Then, also from abroad, but she is actually German. She thought back then that it was a good idea to go to the UK because, you know, people in the European Union can do that. And I'm not going to say now you're stuck, but it kind of feels a little bit like it. Eevie!
Yeah, good evening. I thought it might be a good idea to watch Brexit happen, and it did. So now I'm stuck in the UK. It's not so bad here. I actually quite like it. And I am really excited about all the stuff we get to do tonight.
Yes. Then we have Jan.
Hello.
And Jan is neither from abroad nor...
Yeah, I'm terribly boring.
You're very German.
I don't have an interesting story at all, and I don't even have any major competence in this current system, so I'm really just a newbie here.
But that's the great thing, because no one needs any competence in this system.
That's my alley.
Matt does have competence in the system because, as we've said, he usually GMs it, and also on the officially channel for Free League. But it's not needed because we're going to start at 0, because we are just going to start and think about characters and then kind of slowly ease our way into how this game works and... exactly what you need to play it. What you need to play it is a bunch of D6s, and they can be any kind, any color. But you have to keep in mind that at some points in the game you have to roll several ones of different color, or rather you have to roll them separately, because you will roll and you have to decide which dice are for your attribute and which dice are for your skill, because if you roll a 1, that means something in case it's an attribute, and it doesn't mean anything if it's a skill. So just keep in mind that sometimes you will have to split your pool of D6s. Jan is our foremost Shadowrun GM, will probably have a lot of D6s in that.
I'm an able roller of D6s, so I do have one aptitude that is actually useful here. I can roll a lot of D6s with one hand even.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Of several colors.
Very good.
I just very quickly need to go over there for a completely different reason. Nothing to do with the fact that I only have one color of D6. But don't worry, I'll be right back with, some excuse.
Something
Bye.
completely unrelated to the game. We've got a question in chat. If we are ever going to do German Forbidden Lands actual play or let's play, we already did. Actually, a few years back now. And we played it, and it was the first time we did an actual play with the viewpoint of the GM, sitting around an actual table back when that was possible, and also a very nice way to actually play the game. And so we had the camera looking over Nico Schroeder, who GM'd at the time, to show how everything works, because, and that's the nice thing about the game, if I don't want to prepare anything as a GM, I don't have to, because I can just rely on lots and lots of different tables where I can roll on and just look at what happens to our pool players. So, and the last person who's very important for this stream, oh, there's Michael with lots of colorful dice that he actually already had in front of him.
Yeah, that I had the whole
all
time. Had the whole time.
The last person who's very important for the stream is going to be Nico. And Nico is going to handle the cards and the miniatures and also dice and everything. And the idea behind this is there are virtual tabletops where you can play Forbidden Lands on, no problem. As in the campaign of Matt, we are playing on Foundry virtual tabletop, but there's also character sheets at least for Roll20. But all these nifty little things like the cards and the dice and the really, really beautiful map, we really wanted to use that. So we're going to try and use them with Nico as our proxy and see how it works out. So, the last person is me. I'm Myri. I'm going to GM this, hopefully not beep it up. So, the starting point is, what do you want to play? This is a game where you have a collection of different fantasy species, which are called kin, because it's a very, very nice word that doesn't have any of the baggage that the other words you might use have. And all of them have different backgrounds, and also, that's a really nice hat. If you see a rogue coming down the street in that hat, you know he's not afraid of anything. Okay. And a set of different classes. And most of them are familiar, but there's usually a little bit of tweaks to them. And we've talked about what you want to play before, so there's a general idea what kind of group we are going to have, and we already picked a few miniatures that we can use as proxies. So who wants to go first? Michael, who's to the left, can start. What was your idea of a character? What do you want to play?
So I decided that I wanted to play a Wolfkin. And the reason I wanted to play a Wolfkin was because, as previously mentioned, I am also featuring on the Free Leagues game along with Myri. And with two games that were me both learning the system and figuring things out, I thought I should probably, try and add some consistency to both the roleplay and my gameplay. So I decided I was going to play a brother and sister duo, as it were, one in one game and one in the other. And I chose Wolfkin entirely based on the fact that I thought, you know what, Wolfkin are kind of like pack animals. So I thought like that cool familial connection would be very nice. But they're very much, what you would expect from a canine sort of race, very much all about family and respect, as well as this kind of brutality and violence that exists around them. And I thought, yeah, that could be kind of cool. I'll have one character
sounds like me.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like me. So I thought I'd have one character that sort of embraced that nature, and then one character who sort of fought against that nature. And it was that was my choice and why I chose that particular kinship.
So, if you have your character sheet in front of you, you can now put a little dot or any kind of mark next to the attribute agility. There's a few attributes, and the mark that you put next to agility is going to tell you that that is your key attribute, and you're allowed to put more points into it than into the other attributes. So it means you are fast. You've got long legs and you are used to traveling because the wolfkin are actually roaming free in the forests. And that's an unusual thing that we are going to get into a little bit later, because most people in the Forbidden Lands are not used to traveling again, yet. So, and you can also put under talents a kin talent. You have hunting instincts. We're going to look into what that is a little bit later too. And that's all. And then we can talk a little bit about background, and there might be a few secrets or anything, but that's the first thing you have to do. Now, the next thing is going to be easy, because Jan and Eevie are going to play the same kin, as far as I remember, right?
Yeah.
We, of course, because we're inspired by the brutality and the viciousness and the feralness of all things, we're playing halflings.
Yes.
Because they're known for all these things, obviously. No, but I mean, in halflings in Forbidden Lands, as far as I read it, are sort of the thing. There's a facade to them, which is what you know about halflings, like friendly, homely people that polish their doors and greet their neighbors. But behind everybody's back, and at night when nobody sees it, they go haywire. They curse each other. They drink and go lower themselves to all kinds of things. That again, then of course they pretend nobody's seen. So the duplicity of them was quite interesting, and we decided we wanted to be part of that. So we've got to play innocent halflings.
Absolutely innocent halflings.
There's this really, really beautiful introduction for the kin in the Player's Handbook. And it says, everyone is happy and toppy in a family. They sing humorous songs in the inns and drink and smoke. But when darkness falls, they vomit in the flower beds and go home to beat their children. And that is like, as soon as I read that, I was like, okay, this is it. We need to do this.
The first time ever we played Forbidden Lands, I also chose halfling exactly because of that, because I grew up in rural Germany and Westphalia, and it kind of spoke to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Oh, I think that's actually my first character. That's Molly Gonchbutz, and she's a halfling bard.
Oh.
And as you can see, I've made a mark next to empathy. Actually, I made 2 marks next to empathy. And you put 1 next to empathy now, because you as halflings are so empathetic.
Great.
I think the fact that you live a duplicitous life lets you look behind the masks of others.
Likely.
Yeah. That, or you make them really drunk and then they spill the secrets, something like that. So, the last kin is going to be a classic fantasy kin, right, Matt?
That's right. I am going to be playing a dwarf. And the reason I selected the dwarf is because I'm running the Bitter Reach campaign, and that takes place to the north of where we're playing. And it's forever winter over there, but they are the one kin who has managed to tunnel their way through the mountains to the north and down to the south here. And that's where my dwarf is going to come from. And the dwarves in Forbidden Lands are a little bit interesting. They've been tasked by the gods to build the earth. They were given a pebble, and they basically made the earth and the curvature of the earth, and they continue building onto the earth over time. That is their task, is to, or not earth, I guess the planet, whatever planet we're on. That's what we do.
Yes. By tunneling and excavating and basically bringing what you tunnel out of the depths up to the top and building a new layer of earth on top. And that is what your god Huge told you to do, and you've been doing it for generations. So your key attribute, of course, is strength.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I forgot the kin talent for our halflings. You are hard to catch. That is your kin talent. So it's hard for people to get a grip on you if you want to run. And the dwarf kin talent, the tin calendar for dwarves, says True Grit is our month. So True Grit is your kin talent. So we know that our group is 2 halflings, 1 dwarf, and 1 wolfkin. And when we assembled the miniatures, it actually looked pretty cute, because you've got the huge wolf man and then three rather tiny people grouped around him. And Michael's character could basically go and pat them all on the head with 1 hand. Come.
Size does not matter.
No.
Yes, it does when there are shelves involved.
So maybe the small people have a wolfkin around to get things from the top shelf. So you are not going to be happy when you have to go into a dwarf mine. Good. Have you thought about?
Well, I could dig. I could do the.
You can do
Always
the doggy
happy
digging.
finding a
Yes.
dwarf.
Yeah, the doggy digging.
Okay. Let's look at the professions. So there's a handful of professions that sound like they are in every fantasy game. You have a druid, you have a fighter, you have a hunter, you have a minstrel, which is basically the bard, and then you have a peddler, who's basically good at buying and selling and exchanging things and talking to people. But you've also got a rider, and with that profession, you immediately get a horse or a wolf or a boar or something like that, depending on what size you are. Makes no sense to put a halfling on a giant horse. We have a rogue and we have a sorcerer. So let's go the other way. Matt, do you know what your dwarf is going to be?
I do, and I'm not playing any of those. I'm going to lean into the Bitter Reach campaign, and I'm actually going to play a champion, which is one of the professions, or the only new profession that's found in that book. And they're like a protector. They kind of, when things get rough and bad, they're the ones running around the battlefield, kind of like shoving everybody else out of the way of danger and standing in the way and taking those hits for them.
That sounds eminently useful, I have to say.
Yes, for the rest of the group especially. So do you,
Back to hide behind you.
you have the Bitter Reach supplement handy? Because I would have to do a Michael and just quickly disappear from in front of the camera. So you can just take a look at that, then you know your key attribute, your skills, and anything else you need. Okay.
Yep.
So I can just go let Matt go and put her around and start putting his character together, and we'll take a look at Eevie and Jan. What professions do your halflings have?
Officially, I'm a cook, but in actual technical terms, I'm a fighter, because they make the best cooks.
Okay. So you are going to bash that stew into submission.
Well, you need to hack stuff, in order to get it into your pot. And I've trained with my kitchen knives a lot.
Cooks can do this.
I feel totally confident that I can.
Okay. Then you can mark down strength as another of your key attributes.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes for skills. There you have skills that are tied to your profession, where you can put more points into the skill a bit later on. And in your case as a fighter, it's might, endurance, melee, crafting, and move. So you are tough, you can fight, you can create things, cooking, for instance, and you are pretty fast on your feet.
Yep, sounds like me.
Did you get them, or do we need to?
No, everything.
Very good. So, Eevie.
Yeah, so I looked at stuff and I was like, oh yeah, cool, so many different options. And usually I don't play spellcast as much.
Yes.
But I found this fun thing, which is probably not very typical for a halfling. They got druids that practice awareness magic. I was like, oh, what's awareness magic? And basically, they are, I think, like fortune tellers. They got the sight and they can see things others don't. So that would be really, really interesting, I think, because I would creep everyone in the village out, like beyond what they could comprehend. Good reason to leave, right?
Absolutely.
Alternatively, I could go for a rogue, which would be rather classic, or I could dabble into a sorcerer and use blood magic. But yeah, I'm open to suggestion, whatever best fits the party, really.
Okay, so either you creep us out with fortune telling or with blood magic.
Yeah.
So then let's look at
like
Michael,
the
because I think
fortune.
Michael was also thinking about playing a druid, right?
Yes. So as far as Eevie's sentiments, I was kind of the same. I was like, the previous character that I'm playing in the Free League game is a knife throwing rogue. So I thought it would be cool to try a spellcaster. So I went with the druid because I thought druids would be a little bit more peaceful, more spiritual, and that's kind of the angle that I was going with. But I'm open. I can fiddle around and play with stuff if Evie'd like to give the druid a go. I can.
That's fine. I'm happy to go for blood magic. It sounds exciting.
Very well.
Very good. So if
yes,
you're happy,
druid.
we're going with Michael playing a druid and Evie playing a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Let's do that. Okay, Michael, a druid has wits as key attribute. Please mark that down. And then your skills, your key skills are endurance, survival, insight, healing, and animal handling. That's very druid-ish.
So you can handle yourself. That's a good skill to have.
Yep, I pick myself up and I just throw myself at people. Yeah.
Why is the dwarf in a bed? Because I get the feeling that Nico's a bit bored and starts playing around with other dungeon dressings. Sorcerers. Sorcerers have the key attribute wits.
Mm-hmm.
They're smart and know things. The skills are crafting,
Yeah.
sleight of hand,
Yeah.
lore,
Yeah.
insight,
Oh, yeah.
and manipulation.
Oh, excellent.
Isn't that nice?
That sounds like just like me.
I was about to say, this sounds like a really nice person. Then turn it around. Okay. So we have noted down basically what you are going for as a character. You now have to decide how old you are. And there's only 3 regions you can pick. You can be young, you can be an adult, or you can be old. There's definitions for what old means, differing on kin. And I'm just glancing at human. 26 to 50 is still adult. I'm very happy that they didn't go for usual lifespan in a fantasy world is 30 years. Anyone over 30 is already old. No.
You're joking. I'm officially old by these rules. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know, Jan. I actually
Tell this to the Forbidden Lands people. Elderly people have a right to be there as well.
Aw.
Okay, they need to change that. So, do you know if you want to be young, middle-ish, or old? Michael, I think your character's going to be the baby of the group.
Oh, me? Oh, okay. I thought we were still talking about Jan. Look, I was thinking about being an adult. Just a straight up, just full grown wolf man, as it were, rather than a wolf boy.
Mm-hmm. Good. So adult. Anyone who doesn't want to be just.
I want to be old because I found out that over 50 is old, so I'm playing as I'm feeling it.
Wait. For halflings, it goes up to 60. So
Even better.
Well, if no one's playing a young person, I'll play a young person.
I would, because I'm playing a very old person, a magically aged person in our other campaign.
Oh yeah, in our other campaign, yes. She started as the sexy witch, and then she went straight into a time storm. I'm very sorry.
Sure. I'll go a baby then. I'll go a young little pup.
Baby wolf. So we've got a young wolf. We've got an old halfling, Jan.
Yes.
And the other 2 are adult. Okay.
And I'm going to be an old dwarf.
An old dwarf. Very good.
Okay.
So 81 plus.
I'm adult.
So, because now we are going to assign points to attributes and skills, and how many points you have in each depends on your age. So if you're young, you get more attribute points, but if you're old, you get more skill points, because maybe you are creaky and you've got a lot of mileage already behind you, but you know things and you've learned things. So I think it's quite a nice idea. So our young character can start with 15 attribute points. You have to assign at least 2 to each attribute, and no more than 4. But in your key attributes, you can go up to 5. Questions?
Yeah.
There's basically the same rules apply also to the adult and to the old characters, but adult characters get 14 points and old characters get 13 points.
Okay, and minimum is 2, maximum
It's
for
4,
apart from
unless
your...
it's your key attribute.
Yeah.
The fun thing is if your key attribute is the same one twice, because you're a halfling and also a minstrel, for instance, then you can even go up to 6.
Right.
So I think Molly Goldspatz, my halfling minstrel, she had empathy 6, so she could talk everyone into anything.
Yeah. My dwarf is going 6 strength. Got to lean into that. Take advantage when you can go higher than normal.
And there you see, that's Molly Goldspatz. Empathy was up to 6. And that's also the fun thing. If you're using the character sheet for the first time, you tend to just kind of color in the circles next to the names of the attributes. But those are for noting down whether you are injured, whether you've got wounds in your attributes, because they are also like your hit points. So you just write down the number you have, and then the circles are for keeping track of whether you're injured or not. And everyone, the first time we played Forbidden Lands, everyone made that mistake. So there was lots of running out points and things like that. Good. So you give me a sign once you have assigned your attribute points and are happy with them, and then we can go on to skills. Otherwise, I like that the group is now faced with the immovable wall of books while the dwarven champion sleeps.
That's my library. That's my library. Leave it alone.
No. And for some reason, there's an owl warrior creeping in. What's going on? I'm not sure I like it. Leave Sir Survival alone. Yes, the owl is called Sir Survival. Everyone done with their attributes?
Yep.
Then skills. If you're young, you've got 8 skill points. If you're an adult, you've got 10 skill points. And if you're old, you get 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember now. Okay. And I can, I can spend skill points in my key attributes, and I can only spend 1 skill point in an attribute that in a skill that I don't have as key attribute. Yeah,
you can go to up to 3 points in your preferred skills that your profession made you mark. X marks the profession in this case. And you can go up to a maximum of 1 in all other ones. If you have questions what the skills actually do and how important they are, you can ask me. So for instance, scouting can be very, very important. At least one in the party should be pretty good at scouting.
Not me.
That's
Not
fine.
me, yeah.
And survival also, because the mechanism we're going to use for traveling will ask of 2 of the people in the party to find a path and then to be on the lookout. So, but it's also very funny and can lead to very interesting moments if you don't have someone who's actually good at this. So go ahead and do whatever you want.
I'm going to put 3 points in survival. I'll cover that basis if others want to put those points into something else.
I kind of get the feeling that the dwarf is going to be carrying the group, literally, probably at some point. I keep you safe. I find the way.
I can only put 1 point, so I would probably be very inefficient
Maybe, yeah.
in any of those things. But if you want me to put a point there, I'll happily do that.
I am not going to force you. I was just telling you that you might think about those if you want to be efficient as a party member, but you don't have to be. No one does.
I will be very efficient. I will kill things.
You talked about this. You don't talk about this to other people, remember?
I'm talking to myself.
You are other people. You can be a stranger to yourself.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Me and me and me.
Yes. All of us.
No.
Yeah.
I want to spend more points. Okay, well,
So
I guess.
now comes the fun part. Now that we're done with skills, we're going to talk about talents. And you get 1 talent each because of your kin, and then you can choose from a small group of talents for your profession. And as you can see, Molly Goldschbartz is hard to catch because she's a halfling. And part of the song then is her talent that she chose from the Minstrel talents. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your kin talents.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Questions are good.
I found Millie. How do I do ranged combat? What would be
Marksmanship.
important for marksmanship?
Marksmanship, exactly.
Oh, I didn't get that far. Thank you.
So, kin talents. Dwarf talent, true grit.
I'm stubborn.
Yes.
That's what it is.
You can push a dice roll multiple times by spending willpower points. Every point spent allows you to push the roll 1 more time. When we're talking about rules, usually you rule your d6s, and in most cases you need just 1 6 to make the roll. So only 6s are a hit, basically. And if you know how dice behave, you can probably see a lot of situations coming where no matter how many d6 you have, none of them is going to show a 6. So you always have the opportunity to say, I'm going to push the roll. And then you roll all dice that don't show a 6 or a 1 again. And then we are going to look at whether that pans out. But after if you push the roll, you can actually hurt yourself by pushing it, or you'll basically get tired. So the ones that are rolled for attributes and for your weapons or armor and things like that, when they show a 1, then things go bad. So, but, and that's the fun thing, you need things to go bad. You need to roll ones, and you need to take this damage because that builds your willpower. And only with willpower, then, basically, a dwarf can use his talent to push rolls several times. Usually you can just go 1 extra roll, but the dwarf can roll and roll as long as he has willpower to just keep standing and trying to make that hit or trying to dodge that attack or whatever the question is in that case. Then we've got the Wolfkin talent, hunting instincts. You can spend willpower points to designate a person or a creature as your prey, as long as that creature or person is in your line of sight, and they need to have a scent, or whether if they have a scent you can follow. So one of your senses must be able to lock on to them, and then you can follow them.
All right. Just a real rules question here. Can I lock onto someone with my sense of style?
With your sense of style.
Yeah. I mean, it's technically a sense.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Because it's technically not a sense. It may be a sense grammatically.
In a
that's
sense?
not the right word. In a sense, it is a sense, but not in the sense.
My sense
that
of
it's technically a
indignation
sense.
says.
So, no, you can't use your fashion sense or your sense of style to
Yes.
lock onto
Someone
a
is
person.
wearing a fedora. I will find him. Track him down to the end of the earth.
He's so badly dressed, it's an insult to nature.
Yes.
Exactly.
Nature's going to lead me to them. Okay. And then your prey, you can easier attack them. You can get +1 bonus on rolls if you are trying to fight them, and you can follow them for a number of days that is equal to the amount of willpower you put into the talent. And the halflings are hard to catch.
Cook with a knife?
That is a
that
cook with a
pen and
knife,
a
I
knife?
think.
Excellent.
No, I think it's, wait a moment, I think that's our halfling investigator.
Oh, it's a okay.
She's got a nightstick
spyglass.
and what's it called? Looking glass? No, looking glass is a mirror. It's a glass. You look through it, and it makes things
Magnifying
bigger.
glass.
Thank you, a magnifying glass. Or in German,
Well, it's my glass pen, so I'm just going to cook in it.
Okay, halflings are hard to catch. You can spend willpower points in combat to avoid being hit by physical attacks. Every willpower spent negates one of the hits the attacker rolled. So you
That's
can
good.
basically just dodge, arms waving and screaming shrilly, I imagine. So that's your kin talents. And now we get to the profession talents. So we have a fighter. You have 3 talents you can choose. Path of the blade, path of the enemy, and path of the shield.
I think I'm going with path of the blade because, as I said, I'm really handy with a knife. So
Yes.
that's a blade of swords. People imagine swords, but yeah, knives are fine as well.
So you get rank 1 in Path of the Blade, and that means that you can spend willpower points, 1 willpower point if you attack, to ignore armor. So with your handy cooking knife, you
Where
just
hurts.
find just the spot where you can fillet your enemy cleanly. We don't have a hunter, we don't have a minstrel, we don't have a peddler, we don't have a rider, we don't have a rogue, we have a sorcerer. Oh, and I think Eevie already said she wanted to go the Path of Blood.
Yeah, it sounds exciting.
Then you can, with rank 1 in Path of Blood, you can cast rank 1 spells from the Blood Magic discipline.
Hooray!
Fun thing is, you can also try to cast level 2 spells if you want to, but then something is going to go wrong every time.
Sounds like me.
Yes, probably. Okay. Where is the druid? The druid was right at the start. We have the path of healing, the path of shifting shapes, and the path of sight. Michael,
Ooh.
does anyone of them sound good to you? Do you want to go into details what they do?
I'm loving the idea of path of shifting shapes. What does that do?
You can cast rank 1 spells from the shape-shifting discipline. Yeah, it means that you can assume the attributes of fellow creatures or even take their form.
Ooh.
We can look at the spells that are rank 1 spells of the shape-shifting discipline, if you want to know. Spells, shape-shifting, 125.
Arguably, maybe you can turn into a human.
Yes.
I know.
Animal speech, you can speak to animals. Cat's paw. You can meld your mind with the spirit of a cat and move without a sound. You can cast a spell instead of rolling sneak and you will succeed automatically. Hawke's eye. You can meld your mind with that of a hawk and gain its inhuman sight. You can see the details of anything within distant range, everything from horizon to horizon. You see all details and can identify specific people. Those are the level 1 spells or rank 1 spells. And then on rank 2 you get Beastmaster, and you can basically order animals around to do your bidding. Bear's claw, you hit really, really hard. Deer's dash, you can run really fast. And then on rank 3, you can actually change into an animal.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll try out the path of the shifter.
Good. So you get rank 1 in Path of Shifting Shapes. Very nice. And I'm afraid Matt will have to decide which path to take, which talent to take.
For the champion, I have the choices of Path of Fate, Path of Protection, and Path of the Holy Vow. I'm going to keep with the kind of like tanky sort of build and idea, and I'm going to go with Path of Protection. And that allows me, if I spend a willpower point, I get to automatically tackle an opponent within short range of myself to the ground. So just kind of run over and push them over and help my party out whenever need be.
I like that. As I said, I get the feeling that the dwarf is going to be running after the rest of the party, trying to protect them and making sure everyone gets to where they need to go. Good. And then you can choose general talents. The young character gets 1 talent. Adult characters get 2 talents, and old characters get 3 talents. So we've got a list of them. And we can just look through them and think about whether they sound nice to you. So we've got ambidextrous, which is probably self-explaining. And we've got axe fighter, we've got berserker, we've got bowyer. You can make your own bow and arrows. We've got brawler, builder, chef. I think I know a character who needs to take the chef talent.
Yep, all in.
Then please note down chef as your first general talent. You are an old character, right? So you've got 2 more you can
Yeah.
have. You can turn up to D6 units of vegetables, meat, or fish into food. Cooking requires a fire and takes a quarter day. In a proper kitchen, you could cook up to a dozen units of food in a quarter day. So
What I would give for a proper kitchen.
you probably will have to do without one, for at least at the start. Cold-blooded, defender, dragon slayer, executioner, fast footwork, fast shooter, fearless, firm grip, fisher, hammer fighter, herbalist, horseback fighter, probably not. No one's got a horse. Incorruptible, knife fighter.
Yep.
I was about to say that it also sounds like our cook. Knife fighter. Your attack rolls are modified by +1 when you fight with a knife or a dagger.
Sounds good.
It's an easy one. Knife fighter, there we were. Lightning fast, lock picker, lucky, master of the hunt. Melee charge, pack rat, pain resistant, pathfinder, poisoner.
Yep. Sounds like me as well.
Poisoner.
I'm
That has a
cook,
very,
did I
very
mention?
clear idea of what his character is going to do. You have mastered the art of brewing poisons of every kind. You can use the crafting skill to concoct poisons.
Some call it poison. I just call it a special meal.
Yes, it's the special sauce. Drip. Quartermaster, quick draw, sailor, sharpshooter, sharp tongue, shield fighter, sixth sense, smith, spear fighter, steady feet, sword fighter, tailor, tenor, threatening, throwing arm, and wanderer. So generally speaking, the Pathfinder talent is very useful for the person who's going to do the pathfinding for the group. And the other ones, as you might have thought, is a lot of you get a bonus with this kind of weapon if you have it at hand and can use it. And then also you can craft different things. And then there are a few more specialized bonuses for movement speed or reaction speed, or not having to use up an action to ready a weapon and things like that. So if you have something where I think my character would like to be able to do this or that, we can look which talent would fit that description best. Michael, you are looking a little bit pouty.
Sorry.
What's going on? What are you thinking about? What kind of talent?
Well,
do you have?
ironically, I was thinking pain resistance
Pain resistance.
as mine, because I was looking at the shifter stuff, and it looks really, really cool. And I'm like, because I wanted to create a character who was a little bit more like, I mean, I like kind of dabbled in the healing stuff, but then, you know, sort of looking at the shifter, I'm like, it'd be cool if I could get like the medicine, like, you know, like healing people like with like herbs and like, you know, like more like the physical kind of healing rather than the magical. But then for magic, like turn into kind of like a bear. And it's like, you know, it's like, oh, don't worry, everyone. I'm looking after you. I can heal you. Raw bear, leave me alone. I'm the healer. And that'd be just hilarious. So I'm thinking pain resistance just to kind of up my survivability while I'm kind of trying to balance that healer / bear eventual thing that I'm working on. So
Okay.
pain resistance, I think, is the talent I'm going to eyeball, and I quite like that.
Very good. And on rank 1, that means that if you only take a single point of damage when someone attacks you, you don't lose your own attack. Because otherwise, if you take damage, you can lose your attack action. Because ouch. So you can at least resist smaller wounds in a fight. So pain resistant is then your one and only talent because you're a baby. Good.
I'm a baby.
Evie, talk to me. What would you like
Yeah.
to have?
I would like to have a throwing arm.
A throwing
Because-
arm? Because you're a
yes.
halfling.
Because I'm a halfling, I would like to use a sling.
Good. Yeah, your attack rolls are modified by +1 when you use a thrown weapon or a sling.
Excellent
Very
stuff.
But you've got more talents to choose from.
Yes, I know. I'm struggling. I have 2, right? Or 3? 2.
You're an old
Because I'm
person,
adult.
or were you an adult? When you're an adult, you get 2, yes.
2. Yeah, there's so many things that
What
are
else do you want
tempting.
to do?
I think I want to be lucky.
Lucky. Let's look at that.
Yeah, I'm very good at getting critical injury. And it says you have
Okay, good.
lower rolls on critical injuries.
Lucky. When you suffer a critical injury, you can re-roll once. The lowest roll counts. Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be very handy.
If in a fight you lose your last point of strength by someone wounding you, you have to roll on a critical injury. Same for wits, but then you roll on the table for critical horror, basically. And both of them get less nice the higher you roll. So
Yeah. I think that is the skill for me.
very good. Then you are lucky and have a good throwing arm.
Splendid.
Matt, have you decided on talents?
I have. So because I'm going to be making the survival rolls and being the Pathfinder, I took rank 1 of Pathfinder, which gives me a +1 to my lead the way rolls. And because I want to try and keep all these people safe, I've kind of leaned into some more survivability. So I took Shield Fighter rank 1. So my parry rolls are modified by a +1 when I have a shield. I start with a shield, so that helps. And I also took Defender, which gives me 1 free parry every round of combat and does not count towards my actions that round.
Very good. So you're also old. You've got an
I am
dwarf?
old.
An old
Yes,
dwarf?
I'm an old
halfling?
dwarf.
An
No.
old wolf. Very good. So, last thing is, what do you own? What are you starting with gear-wise? So a druid gets a staff or a knife?
Staff.
A staff. Then roll a d6. That's how many silver coins you've got.
Okay. D6. 3.
Very good. That's 3 silver coins. And then if you look down on your character sheet, there's resource dice. So resources in Forbidden Lands work not like you've got 20 units of something. It's more like you've got a lot of it, and we're just going to look at whether you've run out of it by the end of an action. So you've got a d8 in food and a d8 of water. And every time you use something of it, we're going to roll a d8. And if you roll a 1, it goes down to a d6. And if you lose a d6, you're out. So I've lied at the beginning. You also need a d8, probably. Resources, I'm sorry.
Okay, I've got one. I got a
Alright.
digital D8.
Let's go down on d4. Oh, and it can go down to a d4, and then it's gone.
Okay.
So that's the druid. The fighter gets a one-handed weapon of his choice, which is probably going to be a knife or dagger.
Let's go with the dagger.
Studded leather armor.
Cool.
You can write that down, and we can look at the numbers for it. And also a d6 of silver coins.
6.
6 silver
rich.
coins. You're a rich cook. And a d8 for food and a d6 for water.
He took the money from other people he poisoned.
Probably.
I served them what they deserved.
Yep, I am sure of that.
It's 4 for food and 6 for water, ironically. Not too good on the food, apparently.
Oh, no. You just note down that you've got...
Oh, it's a d8 and a 6. Sorry, you're
Exactly,
right.
and then you roll them each time
You
you
just
you
said that,
use them
I
up.
immediately forgot.
As you can see, Molly started out with a d8, but then she found some food, and she's up to a d10 now. So she's a happy little halfling. And she's also lugging around a little bit of water. Fine. Then our sorcerer gets a staff or a knife. We can get a sling in the next step. D8 silver coins. And your resource dice are D6 for food and D8 for water. I don't know how they decided on that. But the sorcerer needs to have more water starting out, and the cook needs more food.
Okay.
That's what makes a little bit of sense.
Blood magic is a thirsty business.
Can't find that on my character sheet. Here we go.
All the way down, yeah.
Now I forgot. Now I forgot which dice was which.
You get a D... Wait. sorcerer,
Alright.
you get a d6 for food and a
Yeah,
d8
okay.
for water.
All right. As I thought it would be.
Now,
Hooray!
you also, all of you get the choice of one thing from a general goods list. That is also in this book. So there's a lot of going back and forth. Which, funny thing, we've been complaining about their having to look through several books going back and forth to find all the lists and everything, that in the German version they are going to put a booklet in there with an extra, with just an assembly of all the lists and the tables you can roll on. So, grumbling sometimes helps. Trade goods. So I guess our sorcerer would probably like to have a sling.
If I can.
You can buy one.
Oh,
Let me take a look.
I'm so poor. I'm so
A
poor.
sling, it just costs 1 silver.
What? That's a fortune. All right. I'll do it.
You had a d8 to roll on your silver coins.
I know,
How many
but
did you
it's
get?
7.
Seven.
It was quite all right.
That was already
but
in character, I get it.
I'm very cheap.
Good. So you've got a sling. And then trade goods. If you can think of something that would make sense to lug around, and then we can just find it in there. There's the usual thing, like 10 meters of rope. Who doesn't want to go somewhere without 10 meters
can
of
we-
rope? And candles
get-
and oil lamps and arrows and quivers and backpacks and water skins, bandages, parchment, quill, field rations, things like that. Even
Just
a small
to
tent if you
understand
want to.
we get one thing from the trade list, but we can also
For free.
spend
And you
our...
can also spend your
our
money to
silver.
buy something.
Okay. And
Okay.
it's 10 silver to a copper, I'm assuming? Or is it 20?
I
or
think so, yeah.
What's the conversion rate going these days?
I hope it's 10. Otherwise, this is going to make me mad.
8.5.
Please no. No, we're just going to. Oh, nice.
Three quarters of...
10 copper coins equal 1 silver, and 10
Excellent.
silver coins
Thank you very much.
equal 1 gold coin. So yeah, it's
Then-
classic.
And my free thing will be a paralyzing poison. That's just something I cooked up way back there. Because that's always
Nice.
useful.
That is actually in the trade goods list. Yes, paralyzing poison. Very good. I'm rather happy that
It's
you
weird
didn't.
what's traded these days again, but yeah.
I'm rather happy that you didn't take the lethal poison right from the start.
I think lethal is just crass and primitive. I prefer a more elegant solution.
Holy Squirrel was asking whose hand is it on the dice and chest camera. That's Nico's hand, yes. Nico is moving things around for us, and right now he's just playing around with all our dungeon stuff, I guess. Yes. So, anything you want, anything your heart desires.
And then I'm just going to shop my silver away for stuff like
Very good.
cauldrons. Cauldrons are always good. Flint and steel.
I guess Matt also has the list and can go
Yes.
through.
For the
Evie is
champion?
already scrolling through the book and
Yeah.
thinking about what she needs to shop. Michael, how you doing? What do you want to have?
Let's see. I am having a fishing hook and a line and a fishing net
Nice.
because I
Then
want to go fishing.
I take the fishing net for free and buy the fishing hook and the line because
I am absolutely doing that.
very good. So, while you're thinking about shopping,
Backpack costs 4 silver? That's daylight robbery.
Yeah, I know.
Can I put my stuff in your backpack?
I'm not spending that for a backpack. There's no way.
Maybe if we both chime in, we can get one backpack between the two of us.
Okay, how much is it?
4 silver.
Oh,
Just
all right. Okay.
Two
Okay.
each.
Yeah, you
poison the
you
first-
carry it.
I'll carry it. That's no problem.
Okay.
I was gonna say, just poison the first person we meet and take their backpack.
Yeah. That's
Look, I did that once.
We will poison the person we meet and sell their backpack for more than 4 silver.
That's a better idea.
good.
Right.
While you're
Right.
thinking about shopping, we can also think about secrets and prides. Because the last few things you have to choose for your character are a little bit of background that also will play a role, rules-wise. So, your pride is something that you are, funnily enough, proud of. Something you can do better than other people, and that will help you whenever you're in a situation where this applies. But if it goes wrong, you are going to be really, really sad about it. That's basically it. So you can choose one of the prides that are tied to your profession. So each profession gives you examples of a pride that would make sense. So Molly Goldschwartz, she can remember all the legends and she's very proud of it. Or I remember all the legends of the Forbidden Lands. And once per game session, you can activate your pride if you fail a skill roll. And your pride needs to be relevant. So Molly can't invoke her pride if she's about to fall down a cliff. Because just knowing a legend about someone who didn't fall down a cliff is not going to help her in that situation. But if she's trying to figure out a riddle and she fails at the roll, she can say, but I remember all the legends and there might be one that helps me now. And then she can roll an extra d12. And the d12 has several sides that show a hit. And so they can give you an extra boost. I think there's also sides that show more than one hit. Exactly. And this can be really, really strong. Thing is, if you fail the roll, so if you don't roll a hit with that die, you have to get rid of your pride. And then you play an entire session without having one before you can choose a new one. So it can be very powerful, but it can also be not disastrous, but it can hurt you a lot if it goes wrong. So if you want to hear examples of prides for your character class, we can go through them. Or if you have an idea what the pride for your character might be, you can just throw it out there and then we can note it down. Matt is our resident knowledgeable guy about the system. Do you have a pride for your character?
I only run it once a month. I need to get more knowledgeable on it. I need to run it more often. But this is going to help. As a champion and a protector, I'm going to make my pride to keep those around me out of harm.
Mm-hmm. What you can also do is we can just roll on your prides and then see whether you like them.
Can I have a sheep?
You want a sheep? You can have a sheep. If you can afford it.
Oh, no.
How much for a sheep?
Oh, it's 3 silver. It's not. No, it's not worth it. It's all right. I'll be fine.
So, for a druid, for example, the prides are you are nobler than other people and the gods love you more. Or you sense unnatural phenomena before anyone else, or demons instinctively fear you. I've just rolled a die and it told me that you sense unnatural phenomena before anyone else. If that vibes with you, Michael, you can take it, or you can choose one of the other ones, or you can throw another one out there. It just needs to be something that you can achieve, that is special to your character, and that also makes sense to invoke it in a playing session.
I was thinking something along the lines of I understand how animals. Like, I understand animal behaviors. Like, I am closer to the wild kingdoms than I am to civilization.
There's no animal I can't understand or tame. Something like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's no animal that I cannot tame.
Good. Does our cooking fighter know what he's proud of? There's no one I can't poison while still making them happy with a great meal. Or what are we going
Everyone who underestimates me has regretted it.
Oh, that's dangerous.
When would you activate that?
When they underestimate me, I'm a halfling, so they may think that I'm during combat, that they think, I've only got a knife and I'm only a halfling, so they think I'm weak. Or they think I'm an idiot, or they think just because I'm a cook, I'm not dangerous. Stuff like that.
Okay, so you do invoke it in a combat situation. Good. Everyone who underestimated me is now dead. First time you fail at it, that makes a lot of sense, because then there's probably a person who underestimated you and lived. And then we're going to change it. But let's see whether that ever happens. And our sorcerer.
Yeah, I actually like one that's in there for sorcerers. It says, you have read many books and you know the ways of the world. I would slightly modify that into I have read many books and I know shit. So basically, I would like to be, in German, we have a very nice word for that. It's called Klugscheißer, and a Klugscheißer is a wisdom shitter. So it is someone who
You shit law.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows stuff and who loves to let you know that they know stuff. So
Also, when we're talking about knowing things, I'll let you know that the chat really wants you to have a sheep. So maybe.
Can I have a
sheep around?
Yes.
Yes, I have a sheep.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat. Much love.
I would like to propose the name of the sheep be Beep.
Beep the sheep.
Yeah,
Beep the sheep.
it shall be done.
Very good. So the chat now has given you a sheep. It's called Beep.
Yay!
Do you want it to be a ram or a ewe?
Can it be?
We can make cheese and stuff.
So you want to go sheep? Okay.
Yeah, a lady sheep, please.
A lady sheep that recently had a baby sheep, so you can get sheep milk.
Beep. This sheep.
Nico just gave me a very frustrated look and started rummaging around to see whether we have a sheep miniature. And we don't, but we do have a dugong.
That'll do.
Why?
Does the dugong have fur on its back?
Yes, that's a dugong with a blonde wig. It's a long story. Very succinctly, it was a birthday present of a session of dugongs and dragons, where we all played dugongs and similar creatures. And this was, I think, the bard dugong, and she was very charismatic, and she had a blonde wig.
Glorious golden hair.
Yes, absolutely
Nice.
beautiful. And then Anbatok was asking, when do you ever need that mini? When you play Dugongs and Dragons, of course. I mean, it was great. We had a stellar sea cow barbarian. Those are extinct dugong creatures that were like 4 meters long or more and really, really big. Good. So you also need a dark secret. And it can't be, I have a dugong. Nico is laughing.
No!
I don't know whether Nico is laughing at me or with me, but he's laughing.
I think the sheep's secret needs to be that it's secretly a dugong and it's hoping no one will notice.
Now the sheep gets a secret. Okay, I will give the sheep a secret and I will note it down and we'll see whether it ever gets reported. So, you can have a dark secret and you don't have to tell the rest of the group if you don't want to, but you need to tell me so I can grab you by the short and curly secrets. And there's things like, for the peddler, you owe silver to a powerful individual, a lot of silver, for instance. Or let's look at the sorcerer. Those are probably very nasty. You're haunted by visions of the world behind the veil.
Yeah, can I have that? I have no idea what it means, but it sounds mystical and scary.
That's good. So you see visions from things behind the veil. Then sometimes weird things might happen to you, or you might have weird dreams.
Excellent.
Matt, do you have an idea for a dark secret? And you can also just whisper it to me in chat or something.
Yeah, I'll whisper it to you. I'm just writing it out now.
I think I can say mine because technically both Matt and Myri are here. So I mean, the two GMs for the two brother sister characters makes sense for the dark secret, but the dark secret for Verglas, as is the name of my druid, is that his family tried to sacrifice him in a blood ritual, and his sister actually saved him. And then kind of tried to sequester him away to kind of keep him safe. And his big secret is that he pretended to not know what was going on and to be like oblivious to everything and kind of let her sacrifice herself. And as he kind of felt bad and grew older about it, realized that he'd kind of driven her into a life of like crime and evil and stuff, and is like seeking her out to kind of try and apologize, but you know, it's kind of his fault that she is the way she is.
Mm-hmm.
That's my dark secret.
So
It's all my fault.
You
I sent
ruined
my
your
sister
family,
to the dark.
so to speak. Okay, I was going to think maybe I killed my family by accident or on purpose. Nobody really knows.
That's no secret. Everyone knows that.
That's why I'm saying it's not a secret really. Everybody suspects that, so it's too on the nose. But there was a fighter secret that seemed to resonate, which is secretly you enjoy inflicting pain and injury on others, and that's just fits well with the gentle halfling character, I think.
Mm-hmm. I also like the dark secret of Matt, who's sent me in private chat. Very fitting for the character, I think.
I was thinking that if I was wondering if John had actually put his family into one of his meals, like at some point or another, like just it's like, yeah, no one knows what I did.
Very special taste, I can tell you that.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, it tastes like home.
Is it Soylent Green if it's made of halfling?
Mm.
Or is it then,
Halfling tastes
I don't know, Soylent Blue? Or Soylent Green shortbread?
I'm vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian halfling, and we will certainly
So you're
not
filled with vegetables when we eat you. That's excellent.
not eat my sheep.
Nope.
Okay. Do you know the backgrounds of your kin? Because there's the thing that everyone knows about your kin, like halflings are short and they are merry, but at night they beat their children and generally make a vomitorium out of the gardens. But do you know the deeper secret of halflings? Or should I?
And we are not going to talk about that. That's a crass insult, and I resent that sentiment.
So you know about the deeper secret behind
I
the
don't know
halfling
anything.
kin?
I don't know what you're talking about even.
Very good.
What are we even talking about?
Okay,
This is
Eevie knows it too.
not to
Very,
be
very
talked
good.
about.
Michael, I think, has already also read up on the Wolfkin in the Game Master's book.
Yep.
And Matt has, of course, read up on it. Okay, now the very, very last two things is names and relationships to each other. So we need to know, what are you called? And how do you know someone else in the party? So we can, I'm just going to open all the naming tags in here and we can go, Michael, what's your character called? And please spell it out for me.
All right. So his name is Verglas, which is Verglas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am connected to this group of individuals because I spent a lot of time on my own, wandering the wilds, coming in tune with nature and the like. If John is open to it, I would like to maybe explore the idea of a relationship with the chef character, and in the sense of like a supplier, like a nature's bounty is always ready for those who seek it. And as someone who knows their way around the forest and the wilds, helping acquire certain types of animals, be them very healthy, friendly, and herbivorous livestock, or even predators. Kind of that's where our relationship sort of came into play. Yep. So it's kind of a mix of a friendly work relationship kind of thing.
Okay.
You bring him meat and he cooks it.
Basically. So you're bringing me the things that nobody else can bring to the table, essentially, because we aren't going to go out in the woods, hunt, or do something dangerous like that. So
exactly. And I think it's also one of those things where a lot of druids are like, "Well, man, peace and love. Don't eat animals, man." And I'm just like, No, eat animals. There is bear. Eat bear. There is it's fine. Animals eat animals.
I think as a Wolfgang, you don't have much choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, it's fine.
Good.
It's like, what about this? It's an endangered animal. It'll go extinct at some point. It's fine.
Then we've got Jan, whose character is called Belmore Hallweather.
Yeah, Belmore Hallweather. of the Hallweller family, the famous.
Of course, yes.
Cooks.
Famous chefs, all
Yeah,
dead,
famous
but the last one.
That's the rite of passage in our family.
For some reason. Okay, that's a harsh rite of passage that
Yeah, well,
won't
it's
last
like,
for many generations.
Like the Thys, you never get too many of them this way.
Okay, what's a relation you have with one of the other characters in the group?
I'm thinking that there's sort of a common interest. I'm really fascinated by blood magic, so I'm a little in awe of Eevie. But because I'm secretly a sadist, essentially, that's something that I find interesting. So I've spent a lot of time, like too much time, in my village. And when she came along and sort of grossed everybody out and was ostracized, I immediately took a liking to her. And I think there's probably some reason why we had to flee from the village. Maybe I've poisoned one too many people, or maybe we tried to take one of the drunken guys and get him around the corner and do some blood magic experiments or something. I don't know how that works, so I'm game. And then we were found out, and then we had to flee. And of course, the people that the only person I know outside my village, actually, and people that I'm traveling through, is Verglas, who's also probably the only one able to help us escape from the villagers. So we naturally sought him out and wanted him to help us get away to the woods, which again I've never been in. So please.
Let's see. Okay. And then we've got Matt, who also whispered me the name Belgor for his dwarf. And
Belmore and Belgor, then I need something else. That's too
the same thing happened in
that could be our bond, Jan.
Belgor, Belmore.
We bonded over our name.
Confused for each other. There's these two old guys, Belgor and Belmore. I don't know who's who.
Yeah, they're ye-high and old, and
all small
they are
and-
called Belgor. But okay, do you want to have a relationship to the rest of the group that is basically someone thought you were Belmore, you were run
I was
out of
mistaken.
the village?
You
For
came to the
poisoning
village,
people is-
you introduced yourself, and they tried to burn you alive.
I like that.
Good. Then, but you can choose another one. But I really like that this group, basically because Belmore and Poppy did something sinister with someone who was visiting the village, has been driven out, and because Belgor is basically the same name and the same height, he had to flee too. And Verglas just came along because he doesn't know anyone else, and he's small.
I'm lonely.
Yeah, we were fleeing from that mob, and we don't really know what they want from us. It must be a big misunderstanding.
Swear to you, I've never been so insulted in my life. They've driven me from my home and hers.
Well, I mean, I've only been here for a while.
It probably was a bit of a problem that the person you were trying to talk out of their possessions and things like that was one minstrel who was visiting the village, and he was bringing new legends and tales and songs, and he was also very drunk, and you thought that would be a really easy mark, but then someone spotted you and there was an alarm. So you are on the run with Beep the sheep, the things that you can basically just carry on your back, and with the last legend that the minstrel told before you were asking him for a quiet talk back in the alley there, which actually was about something rather near your village. We now have to decide what your village is called.
Something very, very boring. Please.
Pants.
And homely, something positive, friendly, and not threatening.
Cozy.
Yeah.
Incredibly boring. Halfling nimble.
I mean, I can just look up some place around from where I grew up. There's
Yeah.
a lot of really, really boring places.
Sounds great.
Okay.
So I was thinking if Belmore and Poppy were fleeing, maybe they fled into the forest, and that's where they met Verglas for the first time, out in the woods. And Verglas was eating a rabbit, but he was basically he'd skin it and then just stick it in the fire, not even bother gutting it or anything. And then this charcoal black rabbit, and he just eat it as is because that's just he never learned how to cook and stuff like that. And then Belmore kind of,
Oh no, sacrilege! I can really make that taste like something else than charcoal.
like, you mean things just don't need to taste like burnt?
No, there's a whole world, my friend. I'm gonna show to you.
What's this strange white powder you're using? It's called salt, Verglas.
Okay, how about Wartenhorst, which literally means the place where you wait.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay, Wartenhorst, which I lazy town, says the chat. Okay, Wartenhorst is the village that you have just fled. Now let's talk a little bit about the Forbidden Lands. There's a good reason that they are forbidden, because for 300 years no one could leave their home. As in, if you stayed at some place that was not something that you have grown up in and that you were used to, your normal surroundings, you disappeared. Every night there rose a red mist in the countryside, and anyone who disappeared into that mist at night or who stayed at a place unknown to them, well, the only thing that was left were blood and sometimes little bits and pieces, and some people swear they heard screams and shouts for help, but nothing else was ever found. Each morning the red mist disappeared, and one morning it disappeared and it didn't return in the evening. No one knows why. And the first weeks everyone was very, very careful, and everyone was afraid that it would just return, so no one started traveling yet but the very hardiest and the very, well, sometimes very greedy, because they knew there was some village out there that was hidden and people had died there, but it wasn't plundered yet because no one had been able to go there. But now it's a few months after the mists disappeared for the last time, and people are starting to believe that it might just stay that way. So people have started traveling, like the Minstrel that you knocked over, or tried to. And now you, if you want to or not. And you don't know a lot about the country out there, because for 300 years no one has been able to bring you news, apart from a system where sometimes people just travel half a day to the next place and then they carry on the news. And at the end, you guess that at the end of this chain, a lot of the things that the story started out as have been changed in subtle and less subtle ways. The only people that you've heard of that have been able to travel in the blood mist without any problems are the Rust brothers. So, depending on where you grow up, depending what kin you are, you believe in different gods. And if you are near to elven lands, or if you even have elvish blood, you probably believe in the god Clay, who created the world, and in the goddess Flow, who created the rivers and any kind of water, and maybe also in the Shard Maiden, an ancient elvish woman who broke her soul into thousands of pieces to protect everyone, and who also taught the first druids. If you're a human, or if you've grown up with humans, you probably believe in Raven and Worm, because the humans are the newcomers in the Ravenlands, the part of the Forbidden Lands we're going to play in. They came over from the east because of a great calamity, because their lands collapsed or were destroyed, something that ate up the ground and everything. And so people were put on ships and sent out, and they followed a raven carrying a snake in their claws. And some people say the raven was the god and the snake was just a symbol. And some people say the snake was the god and the raven was just someone she was hitching a ride on. There's different ways to look at it. And many people in the East believe in Raven as the god, and there's even a group of holy women, the Raven Sisters, who are following the sayings and the deeds of this god. And if you're a dwarf, you believe in Huge, who has tasked you with making the earth bigger to reach the sun. It's rather simple. you've got a job to do, or rather, all your kin have a job to do, and you are going to work on it for lots of generations to come. But the Rust brothers, they believe in a different set of gods. They believe in Rust and Heme, in a god of metal and a goddess of woods and poison. And they say, or they whisper, that the blood mist is the breath of Heme, and so they feel at home in it. And they were able to walk between villages, and the power that this gives them to be able to not get killed at night and to stay at other places brought them a lot of following and a lot of priests and a lot of people who will worship them and the gods with blood and death. So they ask for human or halfling or wolfkin or dwarven sacrifices. But for quite some time, they were the only people you can entrust in bringing stuff other places or into getting news somewhere else. This is what you know, and you roughly know that to the north there are elves, and to the south there's another place where humans are, but you can't go there anymore, and there have been wars in the past, but for 300 years everything had to settle down and just stay where they were, everyone but the Rust brothers. I guess we are going to start somewhere rather to the east. Nico is now showing us a bit in the middle of the map. That's the west, Nico.
The other east.
Your other east.
The other east. So maybe somewhere there, a little bit higher, somewhere around that river, I guess. We can roll a die and see where it lands. That's always a nice way to find out where we start. Okay, there we are. Somewhere coastal. Very fitting also, since there is that legend that is the last thing that you took with you, the legend of the Minstrel, that ended up having a bump on the back of his head with no apparent connection to our heroes, of course. Because in the legend it says that before the blood mist, there was a wise lord who sought a weapon he had seen in his dreams. He travelled to a hill a few days off from this village in a dark forest to the north. It is said he was never seen again, and at the hill remains his lost war chest, and probably also this weapon, but also insane monsters. And this legend is completely created by a legend creator, so who knows? I can do with it what I want, and you can do with it what I want. We're going to start out in this Hexfeld, and while you are running away, followed by a dwarf huffing and puffing, who was thrown out because he was just unlucky, running into Verglas, who is basically just stumbling along as you stumble over him, you have to decide which way you want to run. Do you want to cross the river? Do you want to go north or northwest?
I can't swim. There's no way to get across the river, and there's the ferry. They're going to watch it. Can you lead us?
How deep is the water?
You think it's at least halfling deep.
No, that's not an option. Let's go left.
It's also at least sheep deep, so...
Let's go left.
Can you help us? Hide us in the forest from the villagers?
Is there like a crossing for the river, and then maybe some fallen trees or something like that I know of anywhere along the river nearby?
It keeps changing. You have actually to go and find a path and try to find a way across the river. You think a few days back there was a big log stuck someplace, but the humans, for some reason, always want to change this.
Man, you know what? Yeah, don't worry about it. I think there might be something just down this way. I'm going to try and remember where it was and try and, as we're running, try and guide us in that direction. I think it was this way.
We shouldn't be on open land. To be honest, I'd rather go. Like if you can lead us, we can go into the forest because the villagers don't go into the forest, so they'll not come after us there.
Oh yeah. I thought. Oh yeah. No, we can go through the river like that. That's no problem. I know just the way into the forest. What you do is you walk into the woods.
Okay.
And you're in the forest. Somebody do that.
Impressive.
What is going on? I go to a village, everyone know my name and chase me out.
Yeah, that's a long story. It's a terrible misunderstanding, and I'm really sorry to have inconvenienced you this much, Sir Dwarf. But these villagers, you see, they're very, very narrow-minded people, and they due to a terrible misunderstanding, they kind of appear to think that we have been involved in sort of an accidental.
Yeah, we stole their sheep, but this is my sheep.
Well, it's not their sheep, so we took the sheep back essentially. But they don't seem to take too kindly to that. But they're really bloodthirsty. So I've seen them. I mean, I've seen them kill people, large people,
and sheep.
And sheep. They kill sheep a lot. There's all this blood everywhere in that village. I can tell you, they're up to no good. So we should rather hide from them if we can.
Yes.
Beep the sheep takes the moment that you are taking to rest to also start grazing. But in somewhere behind you, you can still hear the villagers who you think they're organizing something. Dude, we need more sickles. And if you have something to burn them, we can use that.
I really think we should be going. I think we can have that discussion at leisure in the forest, maybe when
you
they
must have
really
really. Well. You must have really annoyed them, man. They sounds like they want to chop you up with sickles.
Yes.
And then burn you.
We're very good at that.
Mob, I can tell you, they're the worst people that I've ever seen. I don't know what's gotten into them, but it's terrible. It's horrible people. Really.
All right. Well. I look to Beep, and I sort of because she's grazing, so I sort of grab her by the shade and I say, "Listen now, listen, Miss Sheep, we have to run, or you're gonna get turned into lamb chops. Yeah? This I'm gonna use my animal handling to try and get her to, you're in danger, sheep.
Very good. Give me a roll on animal handling.
Okay.
So,
I got two for my animal handling, so I got 2 dice for there. I use my empathy.
Your attribute, your empathy. Okay, yeah, you roll them as 2 different sets of dice.
I do. See, I got the different colored dice. Look, see, now I got the blue ones and the green one. All right. That is 1 success.
Very good. Beep the sheep, lifts her head, looks at you with her slit pupil eyes. And then she turns around and kicking and hopping, she runs north towards the woods.
Yeah. All right. Beep's onto it. Let's get going.
Okay. That sheep seems to have more.
Wow, Beep is actually pretty fast. Okay.
Follow the sheep.
It doesn't take you a lot of time to get out of the surroundings of the villages where there are a few orchards and a few fields that people tend to. But then all the paths peter out and suddenly it's just brushes, bushes, grass, the tweeting of birds everywhere, and no way forward that you can make out that anyone else has trodden before. So you need to find a path forward that doesn't let you end in thorny bushes or in swamp or anything. So who does want to be the pathfinder for this travel?
Belgor, put sheep away, let rest. Belgor, find way.
Okay.
Very soon you also catch up to the sheep because she's not been running for long. And so Belgor bustles up to the front and starts to find a way to go forward.
Right. I got no successes.
Do you want to push?
I am going to push because all my ones are on my skill dice.
Yeah, our adventure might end very prematurely if you can't succeed.
If he fumbles the roll, you move on, but things happen.
I got 1 6 on my reroll, but I did get a 1, so I'm going to take a hit to my wits.
And get a willpower point. Very good.
Yes.
It takes some time, but looking at the plants that grow here and deciding where the wind comes from and what you hear of the animals moving around, and then listening to the ground and knocking on a few stones to find out what kind of region this is you found yourself in. Suddenly you find a way down through a ravine without anyone turning their ankles, and even Beep the sheep makes the way down, and then you are beneath the canopies of the forest. Now, a forest is not easy terrain to move through. North, Nico. Exactly. Thank you. North is not. The woods are not an easy terrain to move through. There are no paths. The only thing that you find are some deer paths where at some points the ground has been trampled, or places where wild boars have marked the trees, but those are not very good to stay. They're also very swampy. So it takes some time moving through the logs, through the underbrush. There's always something skittering and chittering around you and running away, or warning the rest of the creatures in the woods of you moving through there. Well, Verglas seems at home.
I'm actually going to keep close to the other people, because I've never been in the forest that deep, and I'm really a little scared because it's so uncivilized. So I'm out of my depth, and I'm trying to emulate whatever they're doing and sticking close to them, and listening to everything and jumping up at every sound or every weird plant, or trying to not get scratches on my fine clothes. So.
Who wants to be on the lookout for danger? Sorry, Michael.
Oh, no, I was literally about to say exactly that. Verglas is going to be on the lookout for danger.
Very good. Then you can give me a roll on scouting.
Very well. I don't have any skill ranks in scouting, but I do have a wits of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to utilize this. All right, let's see how I go. Ooh, 3 successes.
And also one thing, the Pathfinder can't be the scout, but since Belgor has been finding the path, Verglas can look out for danger, and the rest is just trotting along and hiking.
Useless.
So do you have success, Michael?
Yes, 3 successes.
You're actually very relaxed. This is absolutely normal for the woods at midday. It is rather cool, and you can hear the insects humming along and moving, the wood bees, and there are squirrels. Sometimes ears twitch when one of them chitters somewhere up in the canopy. And at some point, like maybe 50 meters in front of you, a deer just marches out of the underbrush and stands on the path, and then looks up at you, flicks her ears, and then jumps away as fast as she can. And just disappears into the woods
dear.
with a creaking and crackling. Yeah. But nothing else happens. It's actually a rather relaxed hike, even for the shorter people in the group. And you're reaching the middle of the day. The question is, what do you want to do now? You have left the murderous peasants behind, and you're now in the woods, hidden, but also absolutely in the wilderness. What do you want to do now?
Verglas wants to very quickly turn to Belgor and say, hey, I don't see too many dwarves walking around the forest, like it's you seem to be like right at home in the trees. You come to the woods often?
Yet, my friend, I find home in mountains. This is an unusual place for Belgor.
Because, you seem to know the way to move and listen to the land, man. And that makes perfect sense, if you come from underground. The other two, I'm kind of a bit worried about them. They seem a little, he turns to them and sees some kind of twitching. I mean, I think the sheep's a little bit more at ease than these two. Maybe we could do something to put their minds at ease. Maybe we could, find some food. I find food calms people down.
Yes, let's find deer. Let's kill deer we just saw.
Yeah. Oh, deer meat is great, especially from the northern woods, man. Like, yeah. That's good eating.
If you find me meat and a couple of herbs, maybe I can cook us a meal. I'll be happily thank you for the help you've given to us. So that's the least I can do, of course.
Well, I'm sure we can find the deer, but to find someone named Herb all the way out here would be a bit tricky. If you're okay, we can just maybe if we see someone we can ask, but I can't promise.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Are you
I'm
making
not-
fun of Germans not pronouncing the word herb correctly?
No.
Not at all.
No, I wouldn't do that on a German channel. That's dumb.
That would be stupid.
Also, that depends on which area of the English-speaking world you're from.
It also does. We say herb as well. So
Yeah.
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 We say that as well. If you don't say the H, it sounds really weird.
Yeah, it's pretentious. Anyway, herbal. I really take him at face value. So I'm thinking that he probably doesn't know what it is because he's a woods person and he's probably not cultured enough to, put spice on his food. So I'll just look around myself. But essentially, without moving anywhere, I'll literally just look around whether I can find anything that can be used.
Also, to Wolfkin, plants are not food.
Yeah, I realize that.
Yeah. All right. So, Belgor, you coming with me or?
Yes.
You gonna leave us alone
Well,
in the woods?
well, I don't. Well, yeah, but I
You
mean,
have
the
sheep.
You have sheep. Yeah.
It's fine, Belmore. The worst thing that could happen is that we die.
Yeah.
That's not calming me down at all.
Look, okay, I'll seeing as you've got the sheep, right, I'll show you this very special technique for surviving in the wilderness, right? All right, if a predator comes out of the woods, okay, and is like, "Rawr!" And by the way, Vilglas makes this quite vicious face because he's a wolf. He says, if it comes out like that, you just take the sheep and you push it over and then run faster than the sheep, okay, and you'll be fine.
No, we're not going to do that.
Oh.
But
Okay, we
makes
can
a lot of
push
sense.
over.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense.
Well, you can push over Belmore, and then
If
you
you
and
like,
the sheep can run. I mean, there's infinite configurations of this technique. Okay, but
How about we just kill the predator?
Or we kill sheep and then you not be left alone.
No, we don't kill the sheep.
Beep.
Oh
beep
well,
looks up.
it's. I mean, if something comes along, I'm gonna. I think we can manage.
okay.
Yes,
We can.
you shouldn't be run off. Do what you do in the woods, and I'll prepare fire.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long.
Excellent.
So,
Shrugs.
I guess our cook is trying to make camp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. What does
Then you
that
give me a
entail?
survivor roll.
I don't want that. Does anybody have a better survival than anybody has a better
I
survival?
don't
That's
have
gonna help.
survival, but I'm very witty, and I'm here.
I'd like you to make the fire and do the survival stuff, and I'll just get the cauldron ready. Okay?
Okay.
Good. So if we think of this as Poppy trying to find a good campsite and getting rid of any nettles that might burn you and anything else, and Belmore helping out by setting up the cooking space, then Poppy is going to give me a survival roll, but she gets a +1, an extra die, because Belmore is helping out.
Okay, and we need 6s, right? So that's 3 6s and a 1.
Very good.
Is that bad?
No, pretty
No,
quickly. You
okay.
have a very cozy place, and you even basically made a little roof over part of your campsite and found a lot of moss and dried twigs and leaves to make a place where you can rest and sleep, at least for 2 rather short people, and yeah, the rest needs to be improvised.
Oh, I compliment her on the coziness and the all the stuff she's did. I'm really impressed.
I read about this. Of course I can do it.
Beep the
That
sheep.
makes totally no sense. But yes, I'm pleased. I'm happy. Very good. Very well done. Cozy. Excellent. High
Beep the sheep
standards.
settles down in a space that is perfect for using her as a pillow. So, the other 2, you want to go hunt or forage?
Yeah, let's forage.
Good.
Yeah, well, I wanted to hunt, but I mean,
Do you want to? Okay, let's hunt.
yeah,
Let's
I mean,
Yeah, you can do different things. So Belgor can forage, and Verglas
I didn't
can
even
go
realize
hunt.
you can eat half this stuff.
I'll look for the herbs.
You look for the herbs.
for the meat.
Yep.
Good.
Oh my god, that is a massive
Oh,
fire.
it's huge. We're burning the whole forest down.
Poppy, that's a bit excessive.
It's a huge cauldron. It
You're
needs
trying to hide. You're trying to hide from a village, not signal the moon.
They failed their making camp roll, and that's what happened.
Does Belgo want to look for? He wants to look for herbs, so he wants to look for food and not for water.
Nico took it away. Sorry.
No, he just made it go glowy.
Oh, you lit it up. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
You can
Oh,
light it up. It's one of those WizKid sets with LEDs in it.
That's awesome.
So, Belgo goes looking for plants and other things to eat, and in a forest you get a +1 as a bonus on your roll on survival.
all right. I did not get any 6s. I'm going to push it.
Go ahead and push it.
I detect a pattern.
I got 1 success, but no 1s. No willpower points for me, but I did get 1 6.
Very good. Then you find 1 unit of edible stuff. So you dig up a few root vegetables, you pick a few nuts and berries, and you have basically a basket full, or whatever you can use, or a big leaf that you folded, full of things that you can add to something else, or that would make a meager little meal otherwise. And then we have Verglas, who goes hunting. Well, the thing is, what do you want to look for? What kind of creature?
Oh, well, we saw that deer earlier on. I thought that might be quite tasty.
And you need something to hunt with, a weapon or a trap.
Well, I've got my fishing line, and I can kind of make a snare out of it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a stick as my staff that I could, once it's snared, just, over the head.
Very good. So, give me a survival roll with a +1 bonus because you're in a forest. And as you've already heard and seen, there's lots of creatures.
All right.
And many of them are eatable. I've been asked if I have got a dice cam or does she rely on word alone? I rely on word alone. I think you're honest people.
Well, good, because I did not get anything on that one, so I would like to push it.
Then
to
re-roll it.
Yep, to reroll. Thankfully, no 1s on that one, but I did get 2 successes.
2 successes. Very nice. Fine. So we roll now what kind of creature you stumbled upon. And we can roll twice because you've got 2 successes, but both dice showed a 2. So what you find actually is a big fat crow sitting on a stump where she's cleaning her beak, having eaten something just recently, and cleaning her feathers, and she's not seen her yet. So...
Thwack!
What weapon did you use?
My staff.
Your staff. So usually it's easier if you've got a ranged weapon, but in this case I'd ask you to sneak and then hit the thing.
Oh, okay, I can sneak. Yeah, I can sneak. No, I can't. Maybe. I mean, it's it's 3. So let's see if I can do that.
But you're sneaky.
I'm not that
Don't forget
sneaky.
your talent. No, you've got a spell if you want to, but you don't have any willpower yet.
I don't have any willpower.
You will just have to.
Yeah. If I had my willpower, I could use the cat's paw to sneak up quietly, but exactly. I did not. Yeah. All right. Oh, that's 1 success.
So you sneak up. The crow hasn't noticed you yet. She's a really nice, plump bird. You prefer other kinds of fowl to crow, but still, there's a lot of meat on that on that one. And now you just give me a hit with your melee weapon.
Okay. I'm actually decent with my melee weapon. So I got 1 from my weapon. I have 4 from my strength. And I have 2 from my skill. No! Okay, so I got a 1 on my gear dice. Mm-hmm. Which means my stick breaks, which is not great.
If you push.
And I'm definitely. Oh, I'm gonna push because I don't have any successes on that, and I want that bird. I want my board.
Give me my board.
Give me my board. I'll roll it again. Okay. Well, that is no successes yet again, and another one on my gear dice.
So, you lift your staff, and then as you swing your staff, the bird alights. You don't know whether it realized that there was someone standing right next to it trying to kill it, or whether this was just coincidence, bad luck. But it flies away with a flutter of wings and a caw, caw, and with a crack you hit your staff against the stump of the tree. And there is a big crack now in your weapon. And you can, if you hold it up and push your finger at the top, it goes...
Oh, this was a nice stick. It took me ages to find it. Do I get any willpower from failing?
Yes. For
Yay.
no, only if it's an attribute. If you've rolled a 1 on an attribute, you lose 1 point in the attribute and get 1 point.
Oh yeah,
of
I was more
willpower.
meaning if I got a 1 on this on the gear, or it's just gear breaking. My thing. I come back a little bit sad looking at Belgor. Broke my stick.
Belgor's got like a big handful of like twigs and grass, and there's some usable herbs in there, and he's just like, "This is good, huh?"
Smells like rabbit food.
Well, someone has made a really nice camp. What do the halflings say to the rest of the group?
We're looking eagerly when they come. We jump up. I've got the cauldron ready. It's bubbling. What have you brought us?
Salad.
What?
Salad. And I hold up the twigs and the
Oh, look at this. This dwarf knows what my tummy likes.
Is there anything eatable in this at all?
As you sort through it, you find actually a few nuts, a few mushrooms that are edible, and a few root vegetables, and a few herbs, actually. So it's
The things
not
they
a
make
total
me
loss.
work with. Okay, I'll look at it. I'll thank you, because still I'm grateful. I'm looking at our great hunter and his not so great hunting stick. So no success, I guess.
No, I'm a little bit better with like fish than I am with birds, but I found a big juicy crow, but it got away. I'm sorry.
Not so many fish in the forest then.
No. Well, you'll be surprised, there's little mud pools that you can find that they can have some pretty tasty fish, especially in the marshlands,
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Then I'll guess it's gonna be vegetable soup.
What happened to your stick, Wolfkin?
He sort of looks at it rather sheepishly. My stick
The
broke.
actual sheep is not impressed.
Your stick broke.
My stick broke. I tried to whack the crow, but it flew away, and I think I overextended and my stick broke.
Oh dear. Can I see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can fix it. I pull out a very sharp knife, very little sharp knife. Look at your stick, and then I'll try to repair the stick.
Okay.
Verglass will watch like intensely, like, oh my god, like this is magic.
Yeah, it is magic indeed. I'm not sure if I'm very good at this, but I did put 1 point in crafting. And I have a knife, which should be good for woodwork, hopefully.
Yeah. Then
Yeah?
you can roll on crafting and try to repair.
Right, I'm not very strong. I'm not very crafty, but let's see what I can do. I'll probably chop it up. Oh, I got 1/6, so that and nothing bad. So hopefully I'll not make it worse.
Yeah, you're not going to make it worse. On the other hand, our chef is trying to prepare food.
Yep.
I
That's
guess.
crafting.
That's also crafting, yeah.
That is a lot of dice and just one success.
So that's enough. So
Name the ingredients.
Okay.
the thing is, you had one unit that was brought to you, so you have to look at other stuff. So you probably go through the bags of everyone in the group and try to find something. So at least I think 3 of you will have to roll on your food die, and you will all roll on your water die and see whether you use up your stuff.
So the water die. So the dice diminish if I roll a 1, right?
Yes.
Fine. And I also roll for the food dice because I'm not going to. I've got some stuff that I've prepared. I'm going to eat that and nibble a bit and give these guys the soup that they deserve.
That's nice.
Very
Does
good.
anything happen when you roll a 6 on the food dice?
Come again?
Oh, does anything happen when you roll a 6 on the food dice? Out of curiosity,
No.
I didn't get a 6. I was just,
It doesn't magically get more food.
No.
I'm sorry. No.
you know, like cool. I've got 2 loaves of bread, and then now I can feed a crowd.
Maybe later.
Okay.
So it's actually rather cozy. You've got your small hidden place in the woods. Beep, the sheep has fallen asleep. She's snoring slightly. Someone has prepared a place where you can lay out a few blankets and go to sleep if you want to. The fire's crackling. Everyone is at least not hungry anymore, and it was actually very tasty what Belmore created out of a few twigs and bits and bobs. And night is falling. I guess you will want to stay in this place.
Yeah, it's a very safe camp, right? I made sure of that.
And cozy.
Mm-hmm.
Do all of you want to sleep, or does someone of you want to stay awake and keep an eye out?
What
Yeah, we
do
should
people usually do in
do
this
that.
situation? I'm actually asking I'm asking the Wolfgang. Vaglas, I've never slept outside of a house. What are we going to do about these sounds that I hear?
Well, I've only been, out in the wilderness for maybe a few months, but from what I found, if you kind of group up together and sleep, you generally get left alone. But it's a good idea to keep someone with with an eye open that kind of quick to sense stuff. I'm gonna also lay down some like bramble and twigs and stuff like that in like a circle around the camp, so that if someone walks in and doesn't notice it, they'll make a crunching, crickling noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like just
That's
a
a good
makeshift
idea.
alarm. And I'll just be
I'm really
like,
impressed by the wilderness skills that are at display here. Ooh, clever.
yeah. So I mean, we should be able to sleep, but if any of you is a light sleeper, I think we should put you kind of, just in front of some of this stuff.
Belgor's already snoring.
I've got a very sound sleep usually.
You'll notice
probably innocent.
Belgor is sweating profusely when he takes his helmet and armor off. I'm not used to such warm weather.
Mm.
For the halflings, it's probably rather nippy right now as night
Tropical.
falls.
I have a blanket.
Me too. Never
Very
travel anywhere without your blanket. My
No,
grand-
I have a blanket and a sheep. I'm going to use them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a blanket and sheet. I'm not afraid to use them. Excellent.
Verglass is a blanket.
No.
Yeah, we'll curl up and just sort of, actually for the first time, like for quite a while, Verglass, he sort of starts out like sort of curled up off to the side, but then realizes that there are actually people around him, and will actually just like shuffle like a little closer every couple, like half an hour or every hour. He'll just sort of get a little closer until he's like right next to everyone. Then happily start sleeping.
Okay. Well, if they go to sleep, I go to sleep. They seem to know what they're doing here, so apparently one sleeps at night in the wilderness.
Okay, so no one is staying up.
Nah, what's the worst that can happen?
We'd all die.
Wake up with our throats slit. But then we wouldn't wake up.
Yeah, nah. A conundrum.
You wake up.
My day was entirely too stressful in being, thrown out of my own village to stay awake any longer. I need my sleep.
You wake up because the birds are waking up and they're making a lot of noise, especially for people not used to it. There's something, a cacophony of tweeting and singing and screaming. You'd rather describe some of the noises. Something is grunting and shuffling somewhere off in the woods, and you stretch, and Poppy has a crick in her neck. And didn't she fall asleep on Beep the sheep?
Guys!
No.
Where's Beep?
As you look around, the campsite seems undisturbed at first sight, but there's no sheep around. No fluffy bum with and the head hidden somewhere in the nettles trying to get at something tasty. No creature snoring somewhere nearby. You are unhurt, unharmed, but the sheep is gone.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, we need to find her.
It's okay. I'm sure that Beep's fine. No, just
Yeah, I would say that.
advise her, get some breakfast. Yeah, she'll be fine. Yeah. I'm gonna look around and see if there's like tracks for Beep the sheep.
Mm-hmm. Give me a scouting roll.
Scouting roll, things that I'm not good at.
Belmo, you didn't cook her, did you?
No, no. I mean, first of all, you would smell the delicious smell of mutton, and also, no. I know she's your favorite sheep.
Good. Just
I was rather
checking.
for some warm sheep milk this morning.
I have 2 failures on that. I'm going to push.
Mm-hmm. So you roll everything but the ones?
Yep. I get an extra failure, so I failed 3 times.
You're not very good at that,
You
are you?
can't find a trace, literally, of Beep the sheep. The forest surrounding you is making its usual tweeting and rustling noises. Everything seems normal. But then you stumble across something that was dropped. And as you look down and you bow down, you don't think that this was of any of your companions. It's a small clasp, broken, and it's made of bone. It's inscribed like scrimshaw or something, so showing small people riding on something that you would say are wolves or similar. And it must have been broken off a cloak or something similar.
Hey, do you guys know what this might be? It looks like, I don't know, maybe it's like a village thing. Verglass will show the bone clasp to the others.
You can
Can I
roll
look
on
at-
lore if you want to.
Yeah, have I ever read about this, maybe?
Yeah, especially the halflings, for reasons, might realize that this would probably belong to a goblin.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we know more if we roll lore? Or...
No, you can know just like that because
All right.
because
Yeah.
I got 1 success.
Goblins.
Goblins, no.
Yes.
I didn't think they lived in the woods. I didn't think goblins were anywhere close.
Where do goblins usually live? Do we know that?
Far away. We've got nothing to do with them, so I don't know.
And I think at this point, at this very, very dramatic point where you've lost
The sheep!
the sheep
This is how
person
every
from
great
your
hero's
group.
journey starts. Losing your sheep.
One member of the group. This is where we end our session 0.5. And the next time we can go out into the Forbidden Lands with a clear mission, find Beep the sheep, and maybe fortune and monies and anything your heart desires. But we now know what the characters are, what they sound like, what they talk like, how they behave, and how they feel. And then next one, the real session 1, we can really dig into this. But I think both you as the players and also the people who were watching get an idea of how the mechanics work, how this game works. And from now on out, it's going to be a lot of just things that are being rolled on tables, and then we are going to mix something in, and we'll see how it works, because for every bit of the Forbidden Lands that's going to be unveiled, there is one big campaign. And the campaign for the Ravenlands is Raven's Purge, and these campaigns work insofar as they are a set of places you might find, with their own hidden secrets, with the people who live there who have their own agendas, and then you have the players, as in the people who are behind what's happening right now in the Forbidden Lands that you might stumble across. But this can just be taken apart as simple. You have one dungeon and you explore it, and that's it. Or you can just meld it together to the whole thing and have a campaign, and we'll see how it goes, and how much of this is going to be just rolling on tables and handing everything over to, well, fate. And I like the fact that I'm, as the GM, can also be completely surprised by what's happening, and I think that's what Matt also likes about the system very much. So how was it, Matt? Was it okay to be a player?
I loved it. I got to push my rolls. I got to take some damage. I got some willpower. It's everything I wanted. 10 out of 10.
You've got some willpower. Next time, you're not going down. Very good. Also, when you sleep, when you rest for a quarter of a day, you get all your lost points back. But right now, Verglas lost 3 points of wits.
Look, man, I think we need to find the sheep, but we could wait a little bit. Just saying, I feel like my ears.
No.
There's sheep in danger.
There's a sheep in danger. So the thing is, starting with this, I only knew what class and what kin you were thinking about playing, and now we know where you started from, why you are together, and you've lost a sheep. People are looking for you for different reasons. Some of you because you may have done something wrong, and some of you just because you have a similar name. And let's see whether you're following the legends of the Forbidden Lands, or whether you just follow the wind wherever it will carry you. And I'm really looking forward to our next session, which we already have a date for. It's going to be on the 18th of February. That's January and February are terrible months to
pronounce
in English. What were you thinking? Your language is weird, guys. Good. So, usually after a session, we would now also look at, did you have fun? Did we have to change something? And do you want XP? Basically.
XP? Yes.
Ooh.
What do we get XP for? I mean, honestly,
We lost 2 sheep. We cooked a soup. We fled from a village. We got lost in the woods.
It's definitely the most interesting day of my life. And I've lived over 60, so.
See, I think you learned a lot.
Yeah.
I engaged in a life and death battle with a avian monstrosity.
And nearly lost your weapon.
Yeah, I came back.
By the way, you got one of the bonus dice back since Poppy has repaired it a bit. So
Yay.
Got one of them back. So,
well, it only has
XP are handed out like this. Everyone gets 1 XP for being here.
Yay, showing up.
Yay!
To win.
You traveled through 1 hex that you haven't visited before. That's 2 XP. You did not discover adventure site. You did not defeat monsters. You did not find treasure. You did not work on your stronghold because you didn't have one. You did not activate your pride. You did not suffer from dark secrets. Did you risk your life for another PC?
Well,
Nah, I
no,
don't think so.
no, but I disagree on the stronghold part. We sort of have a stronghold. It is this camp. It's not very
You
big.
can decide that this camp will from now on be your stronghold and start building a hut there, and then we are going into the stronghold system, which I really, really hope for that we're going to do, because I have ideas.
Yeah,
I'd like
probably
a better
not in
location.
this place. Yeah.
Maybe a bit
not.
premature with a village that close.
All right.
It's easier to find an abandoned place and make it your own. And you
all
did
right.
not perform an extraordinary action of some kind. So each of you gets 2 XP.
I think I cook very well, but yeah, okay.
2 XP.
And you can spend them the next time you rest. To increase your skills, to buy new talents, things like that. We can go into that next time you rest, I say.
Nice.
So, that was our 0.5 session of Forbidden Lands, playing in the Ravenlands. It was great fun. Thank you so much for being such good sports and for just going along with everything. And I hope also the people watching had some fun, even if we are speaking English on this German channel. How dare we?
Yeah, how dare we? Poor Michael. He's awake for so long now. I'm amazed he's still sitting upright.
Let's send Michael back to bed, and also just quickly let's find out where we can find more of him. If you now realize that he's an extremely entertaining guy and he also might have something to say about role-playing in general, where can people find you, Michael?
People can find me on my YouTube channel, Dead Aussie Gamer and Dead Aussie Gamer Live, where they can hear my advice on role-playing as well as watch me put those bits of advice into practice. And you can also find me doing my live games on Twitch, which I actually not only play games similar to this, but I also have my audience help me do stuff behind the GM screen and inflict countless horrible things on my players. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun over there. So yeah, come check that out at Dead Aussie Gamer. Dead Aussie Gamer for everything.
Yes, he's dead. He's Aussie and he's gaming.
Can I plug one extra little thing? So, Jan, while you are playing your chef here, ironically, on How to Be a Great GM Live, I am also playing a chef. I'm playing a ghoul cannibal chef. So if you want
Beautiful.
Taking the concept one step further, I'd have to say.
You might have things in common.
Yeah, I was told I could play a ghoul, and I went, you know what? If you're gonna eat people, why not have standards? You know, people are like, oh look, there's a body on the floor. I'm like, if I dropped a sandwich, well, would you eat it? Yuck! Come on. I mean,
at least clean it up.
It's important to have a smitten of civilization, you know, in all this wilderness and monstrosity. So I totally agree with the sentiment. I think that's the way to go. An educated, civilized ghoul is something to be admired.
Yeah.
Jan, you have been hiding something you might want to talk about behind your head all the session through. So what you do when you're not playing role-playing games is you're working on tabletop games, you're working on computer games, and one thing that's coming out soon
is as I said, I'm going to do this off screen so you can see it. It's the next version of Fantasy General. So we've got a new DLC coming up end of this month, actually. Well, end of next month, so end of February. But you can already read about it. It's going to drop at, I think, the 25th. And it's the third add-on and DLC for Fantasy General 2 series. It's going to be about lizards. So again, we're in the eating people area. Because you're going to play a lizard hero, a lizard folk hero that's been abandoned by his people as it's their custom. So when lizard newts get 2 years old, they just get thrown out, have to fend for themselves because it's eat or be eaten in the lizard world. And you, of course, want to be the one that eats and not one that's going to be eaten. So there's new systems inside that. We've got evolution points that help you grow your lizard and adopt and evolve. And that's why the title is Evolution, because you can actually change your hero through evolving. He becomes different versions of the lizard and grows and grows and grows until he's a mighty devourer. And you can also train and evolve your own people. So that's the campaign. It's going to be quite different than in terms of gameplay. It's going to be quite interesting and different from the ones that we've had before. And so far, people have found it quite entertaining if they had the chance to look at it. I recommend everybody buy it because I need food for my children.
That's a very
It's
good
only funny if
reason.
it's not true. So from lizard to Godzilla. Also, some lizards eat themselves. In our D&D 5 campaign, we've got someone playing a lizard person, and if he's really, really upset, he drops his tail off and then sometimes eats it as a snack later on. Which, gross, but makes sense. Matt, as we've said when we started this thing, Matt is usually GMing on another channel, which is the Free League channel, but you've also got your own. Where do we find you? What do you do?
Yeah, you can find me most of the times on the Free League channel, twitch.tv/Free League Publishing. I had to think for a minute there. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jowzam3, JOWZAM3. You can keep on top of what's going on the Twitch channel there. I also have a little game I'm putting out next month on Kickstarter as part of Zine Quest. So follow me on there as well if you're interested in seeing or hearing more about that. It's rules light, heavy action, and inspired by spaghetti Western cinemas. So,
Ooh.
a lot of fun.
That sounds.
I'm
attractive.
already hearing Ennio Morricone in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Nico linked my YouTube channel, so all of our sessions for Forbidden Lands Bitter Reach with Myri and Michael in them can be found on my YouTube channel in the chat there.
Yes. Playing Goblin. And then we've got Eevie.
Yeah.
Any games, channels?
Well, I'm an exclusive Muppet on this channel. I only got rented out one time to Michael. So if people want to see me, they need to come here.
That's good. Yes. If you want to see Eevie, come here. That's our slogan. And I'm absolutely behind this. Very good. I thank you so much, everyone. And we are now probably going to decide who we are going to raid next. And I see, for instance, the Orkic Geschmack girls are online. We could go there. So, Nico, please prepare the raid while I say goodbye. Goodbye, my dear players. You've been great. I already love all of your characters, and I can't wait to see where this is going next. And also, thank you, dear chat. You were really funny, and thank you for giving them a sheep.
Thank you for my sheep. Really, I appreciate it.
I wouldn't have known what to do without the sheep. Also, I'm always very happy about animal companions because that is the zone. That is what I love most to do as a GM. I don't know why, it just happens. Very good. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great night, day, morning, wherever you are in the time zones. See you then.